Tarkir Dragonstorm is not just a new set for Standard, it is bringing a lot of hope to players that some cards like Mox Jasper are going to connect with other cards. And in today's video, we are going to talk about Mox Amber and what's happening with this connection. What you need to know is coming up next, so don't miss out. With Tarkir Dragonstorm just around the corner, and the fact that Mox Jasper pre-orders are holding fairly well at the $95 mark, you could say there's a lot of hope for this card in Standard as well as Commander and Modern. But what does this really mean and how does it connect to other cards? Welcome back everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me today for another video. Now, by the time you watch this video, Tarkir Dragonstorm spoilers are going to be out. We're going to start seeing more cards appear. And if anything, that's going to heighten the sense of the importance of connecting these cards and trying to get in early. For some people, it's going to be speculation. For other people, it's going to be, I need to sell some cards to make room. Whatever the reason may be, there's a lot of attention focused on Tarkir Dragonstorm. Now, let me take you back for a moment. Before we get to Mox Jasper and what's going on, let's take a moment to go back to 2018. I know it's a long time ago, 6, 7 years, we are jumping back. And you realize that was the time that Dominaria came out. That is before we had collector boxes. Dominaria only had a draft box. And did you know that 1 in 6 draft boxes contained 1 Mox Amber? If you wanted a foil Mox Amber, it was 1 in 24 boxes, roughly, to get a foil Mox Amber. And the set was tremendously successful. We had the Saga cards first appear. We had all kinds of history and lore taking us back in 2018 that really brought that nostalgia forward. Richard Garfield had a hand in the set and blew players' minds. Now we fast forward. Forget the flashy era. Forget the overabundance and dumps on Amazon. We are now all the way to Tarkir Dragonstorm, a set that people are looking forward to. And the reason we're talking about Mox Amber is because this is reactive to a FOMO event that's happening right now. Mox Amber, being hard to get already, was reprinted already in 2022. That's right, 2022. In the Brothers War, we got the retro artifact version and we got the schematic artifact version of this card. Not to mention serialized Mox Ambers. Now, you may be wondering why I'm talking about Mox Amber so much. The card is on an all-time high. It shouldn't be, but it is. It's not primed for a reprint probably for a couple of years now, but Wizards of the Coast is absolutely on track to do what they do. Allow me to explain. First, let's go ahead and take a look at Mox Amber. This is a screenshot from Sunday when I was doing this video. You can see it's now at $63.95. The all-time high is $66 US for this card. Now, if I take a little closer snapshot of what's going on with the card, you can see here it's on a bit of a tear, and it has been off and on since the announcement of Mox Jasper hitting the world, Mox Opal being unbanned. This is not coincidence. This is a plan. And what I mean by this plan, well, if you take a look at where Mox Amber has been selling, you can see here on things like TCG Player, we have very strong sales numbers. And this is because of cards like Mox Jasper appearing, that you have these connective cards. Mox Opal, Chrome Mox, we've got options right now, and there's a reason why people are now starting to wonder what to do. Now, a lot of people already have actually been selling their Mox Ambers, and they're expecting this card to get a reprint. That's not happening. The reason it's not happening is in 2022, the Brothers War didn't see like Mox Amber get added back into Standard. That's never going to happen again. Mox Amber will have the same prestige as Chrome Mox, as Mox Opal. They will only be used as special guests, as teaser cards of value, as a benchmark for how they are going to take power creep with this type of card. Mox Jasper is the latest addition to this, which is why players believe it is going to hold its higher price point and higher value. But the cards are fundamentally different. Now with Mox Amber, the reason I'm mentioning this is even me, the Mox man, I have the largest position of Mox Ambers in the entire world. Nobody can beat me because nobody saw it early enough. I still control the largest position even after liquidating back in 2022 before the release of the Brothers War. I knew it was kind of coming, so I sold off a large chunk of my collection, and even then I'm still the largest holder in the world. Could I crash the market? Sure. I'm sure I could. I could bring the market value down of the entire card, but I wouldn't do that because I love collecting this card. I love being able to say to you guys, I've got the largest chunk of it, but it also means because I have the largest chunk, I pay the closest attention to this card. I check it daily to see what's going on, what combinations of cards are using it, what formats it's most often being played in, and what connective cards will join that card together. The players who are selling off this card right now and selling into stores, they're doing a smart play. They're making quite a bit of money. But over time, this card is still going to go higher than the $63. It's not going to get a reprint. It is going to be held back, and that means the value of that card is likely to climb even higher than we see it right now at $63. If we see Mox Jasper come out and hold that value, you are going to see Mox Amber go higher. You are going to see it climb to the $70 range. You are going to see it move toward Chrome Mox. You're going to see it move up to Mox Opal, not at that level, of course, because Mox Opal is a lot easier to connect than having legendary creature or planeswalker in play, unless they make even cheaper than zero, I guess, because Rogoth, son of Rogok, he's a zero casting cost legendary that can tap you for red. There's so many creatures out there that can allow Mox Amber to go off that, of course, it's a high value target card that can fit into a lot of different formats and a lot of different decks. It connects beautifully with Mox Opal. It has playability. It has prestige and factor that players don't understand all the time when they say, why is that card worth so much? It really shouldn't be. How's that for a hot take? But it is, because of how Wizards of the Coast plays the game. These sales we're seeing in the hundreds every week now, that is not normal for Mox Amber to have. If anything, it should be selling 20 to 40 copies a week is the average. It is selling tons more than that, but even more so, we are seeing all kinds of players decide to sell off parts of Mox Amber collections. Either they had 4, 5, 6, or 8, whatever it may be, and they're selling it into the local level. And the local level is still selling it for $80, $90 here in Canada. And in the US, you can see on TCG Player, it's selling quite well as locally overseas. This card's moving. And it's going to continue to move as much as we may not want it to. That may we not think it's worth the money. Even I don't think it's worth that much money. But it's going to sell. It's going to continue to move because Wizards hasn't given us a reason not to buy it. They haven't given us something better to go after. And by bringing Mox Jasper into play, they are laser focusing on the playability of this card and the new Mox Amber breeds like Mox Jasper. These kind of detrimental good cards that come along. You got to have a dragon in play to make the Mox Jasper work. That's why people are looking at the automaton, the universal automaton. They're looking at all these changelings and shapeshifters that cost 1, that cost 2, to see how it's going to play, how it's going to work, and if it's going to hold that price. Now we jump back and take a look at Mox Amber. I just told you the hot take that I don't think it's worth that much money, but I can't deny how hard the card is to find. 1 in 6 booster boxes back in the day for Dominaria. 1 in 24 for a foil copy. That's a lot of boxes being opened to get copies of that card. Brothers War comes along and they did something a little differently. See, Brothers War had set booster boxes, draft booster boxes, collector boxes, as well as bundle packs, where we had Dominaria only having the bundle pack and, of course, the booster box. So there's more options to get the schematic and the retro frame, and even then, it still didn't get that much opened. It still doesn't have nearly the quantity that is needed to satisfy the market to draw the price down, which is why it's still going up, even though the card should not be that expensive. Even me, who has the largest position, and I'm telling you, it's not worth that much money. The only way it's going to be worth that much and hold that value is if it's hard to get, hard to find. they keep it low population of that card, and they keep giving us slightly better legendary creatures, slightly better legendary things that can make Mox Amber work. And cards like Mox Jasper and all the other cards they may be looking at in the future. But we're going to have to wait and see. Because, see, Mox Jasper hasn't proven itself. I told you right now, you're probably looking at Tarkir spoilers at some point today. And most of you guys may watch my video, you may not. You may be looking at Tarkir spoilers trying to see, hey, is Mox Jasper got some connective cards here? It may not happen right away. It'll be somewhere down the line where they're going to give you some cheaper casting costs, maybe even a zero casting cost thing that counts as a dragon, or a crossover creature that is a dragon as well as a changeling as well as whatever. I don't care. They do so many multi-types of cards. If it's a changeling, it's everything anyway, but you know what I mean. It's a warlock, dragon, assassin, shark, Mako shark. No matter how you look at it, you'll be looking for that connective tissue to make those cards good. It may not happen right away. Nobody saw Mox Amber coming because there wasn't enough really cheap legendary creatures to make it really hum and sing. But within a 2-year period, of course, we had tons of cards coming out of lower casting cost legendary creatures. Just made it insane. So I hope you guys have found this informative, because when we're looking at this and we're looking at how much this thing is selling, it is not going to get cheaper. And the people who are selling it in the market are probably not at the height of the market. They're probably losing a bit. This thing's going to hit the $70 mark, in my opinion, and it's going to hold there for a while because there's nothing telling it that it shouldn't. Players continue to buy it, and they're buying it slowly escalating prices, and stores are pretty happy because they're buying these things at $30, $40 and be able to sell them for $80, $90, right? They're getting the exact markup they're hoping for, and players think they're getting a good deal because they may have bought this card at $5, $6, $7 years ago. I think my cost basis is like $7.35. I think I've mentioned this many times on the channel. I think it's $7.35. I'd have to look at the spreadsheet, but the overall cost of that card has gone up so exponentially in the last 6-7 years that it's hard to believe it was ever that cheap to begin with, because most people didn't buy it back then. They thought it was a worthless card. Is Mox Jasper going to be worthless? Is this FOMO event going to tie together to make Moxes all become super prestige cards that have some kind of crazy playability? That's what we're going to have to wait and see. That's what we're going to find out with sets like Tarkir, as well as upcoming sets in the next year or two. Pay attention to this stuff. I know I do. If you have any questions, by the way, you can email me or drop questions in the comments section. I will be happy to help you guys out with any information I have related to cards like this and the history of them, okay? Thanks a lot for hanging out. Thanks for being here with the Mox Man, and I will see you guys soon, well, probably tomorrow, with another video. Welcome back to the end of the video. That's right, guys. This is the end. It's over. There's nothing to see after this. There's no reason to watch any further. You just get to enjoy this moment where we see all these amazing patrons who support my channel, all the epic YouTube membership members, and of course, regular viewers who tune in every single day, making this channel popular, watchable, enjoyable. I don't know what I'm saying at this point, but you know what? Patrons rock, guys. What can I say? I'll see you tomorrow with another video. Here we are at the end of the video. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. Ramble in the Jamble! Now, a couple of things of note. Mox Amber should not be selling as well as it is, but it is. So take advantage of that fact. You might be able to cash in and make some money at the same time. I still think this card will go higher, but it'll calm down first. You don't need to buy it now. You need to buy it about 3 months from now, when the hype of Tarkir Dragonstorm dies down and all the cards get dragged down a bit, waiting for the next set. That's going to be your window, okay? It may only get out a few bucks, but it will be a little bit cheaper. Now, at the same time, I want to remind people, I was buying Mox Amber way before most people realized it was going to be a good card. And I did it partly because I had missed out on cards like Mox Diamond. I was kind of being vindictive at the time and just having some fun. But at the same time, I knew cards like this in the history of Magic always had a really high net worth at some point down the line. I looked at things like Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, right, Mox Opal, all these types of cards. And of course, I've already paid for all those Mox Ambers that I own now. So I've already sold off a chunk of my collection, which of course has now fully paid for what I currently have in my inventory, and I'll be happy to sell those at some point just to make some more money back, and I'll keep maybe like 1,000 or so just as a fun thing for the channel. And even then, I'm sure that's going to be the largest position probably in the world, right? As well as my foil collection, I'm sure exceeds anything even possible when you know it's 1 in 24 boxes back then. Insane numbers. Anyway, when we're looking at this, all this is hinged on Mox Jasper. Mox Opal being unbanned started the first wave of these sales. Mox Jasper coming and being announced has caused this second wave of sales. I do expect it to slow down, and some of these stores probably will be caught holding the bag a bit because they've just bought so many. No, not from me, but they have bought a lot of them because they've lowered their buy prices. I'm paying close attention to see how the market moves. And at the same time, it's hilarious to watch it all happen because it's happened before. And if you know what to look for, it's not that hard to understand what's going to come next. Guys, thanks a lot. Thanks for being here. I'm out of here. I'm walking off stage. Wait, I got to come back because I have to turn off the video.